Hi guys and welcome to another vlog, or rather should I say welcome to another movie, because this is the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. I got this car when it had done only 150 kilometers. So yes, what you're seeing is an exclusive India drive of this Neptune blue colored Porsche Taycan. But before we start, let me show you some dynamic shots because this car looks beautiful when in motion, when standstill. A lot of people come and stare at it, take pictures. So let's go. Whoa! This is Porsche's first series production electric car, and this car is also the Formula E safety car, obviously a modified version of it. Now the price of this car is 2.66 crores on road Mumbai, but this car has 37.6 lakhs worth of optional kit. Yeah, that's a lot of money in terms of optional kit, because this particular Neptune blue color, 3.46 lakhs please. You see carbon on the bumper, front and rear. That is a cool 6.75 lakhs. And this is the key of the car, and you can see it matches the color of the car, of course. Now it has this light which blinks from the Porsche logo at night. Unlock the car, lock the car, open the front, open the boot. Quite simple. Now the thing is that this is a very beautiful looking car. It has all the cues of a Porsche model, and that's the reason people just turn around to see, because at the end of the day it is a Porsche. Now it gets a camera here because it gets a 360-degree camera. Cost of the same is a cool 2 lakh rupees. You can see carbon finishing here on the bumper, and this is part of the carbon fiber package which is only available in the Turbo and Turbo S models. In fact, there's a vent here which is very much functional. You can see through it. Front parking sensors, of course, and the lights are really very beautiful because these are Porsche LED matrix lights, and you get this 4-point LED here, of course. Beautiful looking. In fact, the LED DRL vanishes when you turn on the indicator, and the indicator also blinks from here, which I will show you on the other side. There you see, it's functioning right now. That is the indicator, of course. Now in order to open the front, it is very easy. You can open it from the inside, or you can open it by pressing this button here. I double tap it and there it opens. Good thing it has a frunk, because the boot is kind of useless, and there is good amount of storage because that's 82 liters of storage space. Somebody printed the wrong number plate because that has a white background. It's an electric car, so it needs to have a green background, of course. This is where the washer fluid goes, and there is something else which also goes in, I think for the brake fluid. Anyways, there is no insulation here. It doesn't really need it as such. This opens, of course. There is the first aid kit and the towing hook just in case. And here you get the puncture repair kit. That's not all. The warning triangle has been placed here, and there's a light placement there as well. But I suspect this will heat up a lot the frunk. Obviously it will. Now let's just shut this and then push it down. There it closes. Oh my god, the quality of the paint is just next level. Here's a charging port. In order to open it, it's very easy. All I need to do is just swipe it like this. It takes some time, and there it opens. Now if you notice, this is actually for DC charging, but you can also do AC charging from here. I can press it once again, and there it closes. Now this one actually can be operated from the inside as well, so operates from both the sides. If you also notice one thing, that it has got carbon caps on the mirrors. 2.16 lakhs for this please. And let's open the charging port, which is only for the AC charging. Yeah, this side is only for AC charging, so you can see something is missing there. Let's just shut it. Yeah, just a nice swipe and it's done. Says electric right there. Tire size is 265/35/21 at the front, and obviously carbon ceramic brakes. Porsche written on the brake caliper. These are 10 piston ones. Amazing. And there you can see the S suspension as well. I'm not sure if you can see it now. Yeah, now you can. It says Taycan Turbo S right here, and then sort of carbon finishing on the side as well. Now coming to the side of the car, it is almost 5 meters in terms of length. The wheelbase is almost 2.9 meters. It is actually 2.9 meters, and ground clearance is 126 mm. So obviously you can raise the ground clearance with a touch of a button. That's also possible. Here you can see there is a camera, and when you open the door at night, it actually projects Porsche. But there is this red light which actually tells people behind that there's a door open. And from here itself, it projects the Porsche logo on the floor, which is an additional 42,000 rupees. In fact, it says Taycan Turbo S, which also illuminates at night. Here is the weight information of the vehicle. Here is the tire pressure recommendation of the vehicle, and it doesn't get soft close doors, which is a bit disappointing because you really have to push the door inside. Now it has this sort of a sloping roof line. It's a very beautiful looking car, I would say. Rear tire size is obviously bigger, 305 30 21s. This is obviously smaller, the brake calipers at the rear, because 4-piston, and there's the Porsche logo, of course. In fact, want to see the size of the tire? Look at that. That's insane. It's huge, crazy huge. And look at this carbon treatment here, which is also very nice and cool. I really like it. Now, these are the brake lights, and you can see the fog lights are actually turned on at the moment. There's the indicator, of course. Says Taycan Turbo S. This doesn't have a turbocharger. Why does it say turbo? Because since the 1974, all Porsche models which are high-end have been termed as turbo. So it started with the 911 back in the day. Rear end design again very much like a Porsche. But there is no rear wiper and washer. Why is that the case? This is a notchback boot, and it is heated, of course. High mounted stop lamp. The mirrors there are also heated. In order to open the boot, very easy. You just press a button here and there opens the boot, which is useless. It's 400 liters, but you can't keep anything inside because the spare wheel, which is not an alloy, which is a space saver, occupies all the space. And then the charger also, it's an 11 kilowatt AC charger which comes with the car, occupies all the space. There's a 12 volt charging socket right there, which is only useful if I'm able to put stuff here. You can see the charger as well. It's a bit of a task actually to use the boot. Press a button there, power tailgate, of course, and there it shuts. But I'm really disappointed that there is no boot space. Now it has a rear spoiler which retracts at speed to increase the downforce and, you know, just to keep the car glued. But that particular thing can be retracted from the inside as well, which is kind of cool. Door handles pop in and out. You can notice they are outside at the moment. So let's come to the other side and look downwards. Beautiful carbon finishing, reflector there, rear parking sensors are there, of course, and there is the reverse parking camera. It has a spray to clean it as well, and then you can see really attractive looking rear side, downside also. But fingers of truth, I don't have to search anything, so they are jobless today. In fact, behind this glass there's Porsche written inside, and if you notice, it's a full LED bar as well. Now let's get inside, and I'm really disappointed with this as well because there's not much space. Yeah, there isn't much space. It does say Taycan here, doesn't say Taycan Turbo like it does in the front, but this also illuminates at night. Both speakers, and there's very little space here for storage, but it is lined nicely. Beautiful golden finishing, again sort of carbon fiber finishing as well. Leather, double stitching, quite high in terms of quality, of course, but look at the space. It's very disappointing. You can't really sit comfortably, and this obviously reclines. Yeah, this is 60 recline, and the other side is obviously a 40 recline. So let me just put it back. It says airbag right here. In fact, it has the Porsche logo on the headrest as well. All the headrests have it. Center passenger does not get a head because he does not even get a bum. Yeah, you can't seat a center passenger here. There's a huge hump there as well. Why is there a hump? Isn't this an electric car? Yes, so battery placement is obviously on the floor, and that's the reason. Legroom, not legroom, footroom could be compromised, but they have something known as foot garages. So they have made recesses here for your foot so that there is good amount of space for you. So knee room and all is not an issue. Legroom is fine. It's not that great as such. This is obviously, I thought it's going to be hard, but it's actually soft. I don't know how it is that. Okay, height adjustable seat belts for the front. There's a hook. There's a hook here, and there is a handle as well, which is kind of cool. These headrests are huge, like huge headrests, but still visibility at the front is fine. Okay, you get climate control air conditioning. There you see, gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning system. You know what's the fun thing? You can't adjust the vents at all. It's not fun, it's stupid actually. They have to be adjusted from inside. Like you can decide where you want the airflow to happen. Yeah, it's a 4-zone system, but this is kind of on the stupid side. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense when you can't manually just move it. And the other thing is, it's got 2 USB charging sockets at the rear, but they are here, USB-Cs. You can't see them as well. Very badly positioned, I would say. You get heating function for both the rear seats as well. And there's this rubber treatment here for keeping your stuff. There's a center armrest, which has got twin cup holders as well. And in terms of headroom, it's not that great. Now you can see the dashboard design of this car. It's quite attractive. But before that, let me tell you that under thigh support is actually very poor. It's not that great. You sit in a knees up position, not completely, but sort of, yes. And there are so many screens. Look at the amount of screens in this Porsche model. Firstly, the dashboard is a typical Porsche affair. Extremely amazing in terms of quality, like really good quality dashboard. Full of screens as well, like crazy amount of screens. In fact, it says Turbo S here. Yes, on the center armrest, it says Turbo S as well. And there's no sun blind for the moonroof here. That thing does not open, but there's no sun blind. But there's a trick up this car sleeve. It says airbag there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, let's get outside. Getting in and out is really very difficult. Doors don't open wide. Roofline is sloping. So rear seat is best for kids, honestly. I wouldn't sit there, honestly. I wouldn't. You obviously get ISOFIX child seat mounts at the rear. And let's get in from here. First things first, I will open the window of this vehicle because frameless doors, they look so cool, so nice and stunning as well. I never imagined a Taycan would attract so much attention, but people are just turning right, left and center to see this car. That's the level of craze they have for it. Okay, I press a button here to adjust the seat, or rather I have to keep this button pressed, then only the seat will move. So there you see, the steering is going inside, the seat position is also moving, and under thigh support is not an issue because that under thigh support thing will extend any moment. Yeah, so the seat is taking its position, the steering is taking its position, and this thing is extending as well. In fact, it also gets this Porsche carpets. There you get a proper dead pedal. Since this is a brand new car, I actually removed plastic sheets from it. And the interior is already getting dirty. So this is beige with piano black finishing. This is actually the engine start button, or rather the vehicle start button, because obviously this is electric. There's some storage space below there. This thing actually illuminates at night. So do the cup holders. You can see a bit of the illumination of the cup holders right now as well. Dashboard design is actually something which will wow you over. This is the first Porsche model to get a fully digital cluster of screens. There are 4 screens on offer because once we'll come to that, okay. It says Bose here. Storage space is fine here. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. These are actually the controls for the power window controls, and this is for memory settings. You can save up to 3 people's settings as well. Same is the case on the other side as well. The co-passenger also gets electric adjust. Seats are nice. Again, the Porsche logo here on the headrest. They are really nice and comfortable seats, but they are on the stiffer side. I will not deny it. Let's get inside, and it is quite the effort of getting in. You have to really scoop through there. Now, Alcantara finishing here, which is very nice. I'll turn off the indicator. There is the beautiful Porsche clock, which is for rupees 1.46 lakhs. So nothing is cheap here, obviously. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror, of course. Light placement here on the top. Yeah, it obviously needs lights so that you can see your beautiful car at night. And there you get a mirror along with a light on the top. Same is the case here as well. You get a mirror along with a light as well. Now the glove box is small. Yeah, it's not a very big glove box, but it is lockable. The glove box is lockable, which is kind of cool. Now I was coming to this, that you can see the moonroof doesn't have any blind. That's kind of bad. So how do you prevent sun from coming inside? Well, with a touch of a button, you can actually change stuff, which is so cool because here the glass roof has these options. You can simply browse through one of the 4 glass modes, but this thing does not come cheap. Price is 7.46 lakhs. Expensive, you freaking bet. But there's another screen here. So this is actually a 10.9 inch screen. This is another 10.9 inch screen. So both of them actually feel like one screen, but there are 2 screens here. This one is an optional extra for 1.46 lakhs. But the thing is, this immediately turns off and says Taycan, or you can see media there as soon as you start driving this car. So that's kind of cool. Here we've got twin cup holders. In fact, it says Taycan right there. Below here, there is some amount of storage space along with 2 USB-C charging sockets and a 12-volt charging socket as well. I don't know what this warning means about the screen or something of that sort. Now let me show you the rear USB charging sockets. There they are, hidden away. I don't know why that's the case. And this actually brings me to this screen in the center for climate control and various other factors. Now this one is an 8.4 inch screen. This size is exactly the same as the one on the Lamborghini Huracan. So maybe part sharing is happening there. Now obviously dual zone climate control at the front. Here AC is actually a chiller, but in order to decide how you want the airflow to happen, you actually have to go inside this menu. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, and then decide. Yeah, so then you have to actually move it, then only you can decide airflow. So Porsche has made something which is very simple, extremely complex. I don't know why. Now this is not the best screen in this car. This is actually to open the front and the rear, the frunk as well as the charging ports and all. You can actually open it from here if you so wish, and this is the button to adjust the glass roof right there. Now you can turn on the camera from this button, 360-degree parking camera. In fact, if I press a button, it is going to clean the camera as well. You obviously get adaptive guidelines, but the steering will just not move unless and until you're not in drive. It says fasten your seat belt. So quality of everything is amazing. Here you see adaptive guidelines, and the camera actually moves along when you turn it. So that's something which has been done with software, of course. Quite cool, right? Now you have got multiple camera views as well. When I get into drive, it says Taycan there. It removes the display which is coming, wherein you can see a lot of things like G-force meter and all. We'll come to that in a bit. There I can browse through multiple views for the camera. Camera quality is just exceptional, something which you would expect from a Porsche car, of course. So this is the menu, 10.9-inch screen, very easy to browse. Android Auto is there, Apple CarPlay is there. There's a Sport Chrono button as well for the Sport Chrono package, wherein you can do a lap timing and all that. You can get into the car settings, lot of things here as well. Trip meter here, comfort will have ambient lighting. It has got 8 colors for the ambient lighting. There you can see here, it's got just 8 colors, not 64 colors which Mercedes-Benz offers. Very nice screen, but this is the highlight. It is, I think, a 16.8-inch screen. It's a curved display. It is just amazing, but the Porsche tachometer is gone. All Porsches had an analog tachometer. This one no longer has it, which is very disappointing. There's no heads-up display. I think that could be part of optional kit, of course. Now here you can browse through a lot of stuff. So all you have to do is press a button, and then you can decide if you want to see the G-force meter, if you want to see how is the performance when you launch the car there. Yeah. So they could have just browsed through that screen rather than getting into various information. Here also you can see if you want a power meter. So that power meter is just another gimmick, I would say. And then in this screen also you can see quite a lot of things. So I've actually configured it for various information, navigation and all is also there. Now if you so wish, you can actually decide that you want to see on the center screen a full navigation view as well. So all that is also available. Here it tells you the clock, the temperature on the left side. Some buttons are here, touch sensitive buttons, traction control, suspension, ride height, and you can actually configure this button. Similarly, you can actually configure this button for whatever mode you want. So all this also this car lets you do. This is for voice commands, this is for the volume control, and this is for regenerative braking. On the other side, these are actually the controls to operate the screen. Beautiful looking Porsche logo right there. And this is part of the Sport Chrono package. So you can decide the drive mode and it actually shows it to you in the screen very quickly. So that's kind of nice. And then you can obviously decide how you want the car to be driven. These are the controls to turn on the lights and all. So yeah, you get some of the controls here as well. The only problem is that all these are touch controls. So they have haptic feedback, but some physical controls are thankfully given on the door for the adjustment and on the steering wheel as well. Now this lever is actually, can you see that? Yeah. That is for the cruise control system. In fact, it has got cameras here. 2 cameras are there outside. One is for the rain sensor, other is for the lane keep assist as well. These are the controls for the wipers. You get a knee airbag for both the driver as well as the co-passenger. So wonderful interior, very tech loaded here. This screen is turned off. By the way, it gets a 14-speaker Bose sound system with 710 watt output, including a subwoofer, and the audio quality is actually decent enough. Rather, the audio quality is not decent, it's quite fantastic. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, but first I will turn off the car. You know why? Because when I do that, this thing looks so beautiful, the way the Taycan silhouette comes and then it turns around as well. But we'll turn on the car right away and let me get into drive. This gear selector is quite unique, finished in copper color, but it is out of sight, so not the easiest to operate, and there's an electric parking brake right next to it. In fact, the way the screen has been done, I can't see the clock, I can't see the outside temperature either in my line of sight, but I think Porsche thinks that's not important at all. When you turn on the car, it does this nice light dance. In fact, the light dance is so kind of aggressive that you go out to see how the headlight moves, and it actually does move. So that's also cool. The front seat backs have provisions to put rear seat entertainment, which Porsche likes to call as preparation for Porsche rear seat entertainment, priced at rupees 50,000. Telltale lights are actually placed right below here. You can't see it, but they are right in plastic or something. Anyways, we are in drive right now and off we go. Hazard lights off. So right now I'm just going to drive it normally. We are in normal drive mode. In fact, I'm actually going to put it into Sport Plus. There we are. Chassis is obviously low. You can hear the electric motor sound has also started. So we're just going to stop here and launch it straight away, and off we go. Now I'm not going to do too much of an aggressive launch here because the road is not that great. There's a little bit of bumps here, so we're going to be talking about the dynamics of this car. And talking about dynamics, this car has got something known as Porsche Chassis Control Sport, which is priced, or rather Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control Sport, which is priced at rupees 4.76 lakhs. Basically, it has this electromechanical anti-roll bars to reduce the body roll, and that is exactly what it does by stiffening the anti-roll bars. Now, around the corners, it is actually very good. See the level of precision, the way it hides its weight is unbelievable. You wouldn't expect it. Oh my god, it pulls like really crazy. So, the thing is, you can just power out of corners really very fast with a lot of enthusiasm, because you get a bit on the throttle and it absolutely goes ahead. Now obviously I'm driving on part throttle, but even on this slightly bumpy road you can't feel much of the road because the ride quality is actually very nice. Yes, it absorbs most of the bumps, and over big bumps it will thud through, but for a car which is running 30 profile tires at the rear and 21-inch wheels, the ride is actually fantastic, really very nice. And let me talk about the driving position, because it's unbelievably good. You're seated in a way you can see everything around. Somehow I can see the edges of the bonnet as well, the hood, which kind of gives me that feel of driving a Le Mans car. I don't know. I just associate this with the Ford GT40 or something of that sort, because I am able to see clearly the edges. The car is quite wide. It's also very long, but the ground clearance is quite poor. So ground clearance is 126 mm. The good thing is that the nose can be lifted by 20 mm under 30 km per hour by pressing this lift button here, which is also a shortcut somewhere or the other, which we'll have to use because I see a speed breaker right ahead. At 90 km per hour, it actually drops the ride height by around 10 mm, and at 190 km per hour, it will drop it a further 12 mm. So by 190 km per hour, you are lower by 22 mm here. Speed breaker, lift, otherwise, yeah, the car does tend to scrape its underbelly, so you have to be a bit careful. And the funny thing is, there it touched. Yes, no matter how careful you are, the wheelbase is long, so it does tend to forget touching, just fly. When you feel bad you have touched the underbelly, you just get on the throttle and it absolutely goes ahead. The performance is unbelievable. The ride is nice, the handling is good. They attempted to make it drive like a 911. Obviously you cannot make anything drive like a 911, but somehow this car drives very well. In terms of electric cars, this is one of the best. No, not one of the best. This is the best electric car to drive. Amazing precision. The steering is fantastic, although it's not 911 fantastic, but still it's direct, it has feedback, it weighs up nicely. So pretty good steering in this car, and the ride is good. The handling is really nice. Body roll is well contained. For the most part, there is no roll. Somehow it hides its 2,295 kgs weight very nicely. You can't feel that weight at all, and out of that I think 630 kgs is for the battery alone. And there are two battery packs, 93.4 kilowatt hour, the one in this car, and there's a 79 kilowatt hour, something around that output as well, battery, the lower battery pack, which is 70 odd kgs lighter. Yeah, that's the fake sound you're hearing right now, because electric sound is turned on. Although it is fake, it's still quite nice. So Porsche has done a good job in that regard. And even if I decide, okay, let's just turn off this sound, this fake stuff which is coming from the speakers, there's still a slight whine from the motor, which I think has been intentionally done to get that connection of driving feel. It sounds good. Not internal combustion engine good, but it sounds good by electric car standards. So that's fun. And like I was telling you, that the performance is the real highlight here. It's absolutely nerve-wracking performance. So that 93.4 kilowatt hour battery pack means 83.7 kilowatt hour net is what you get from it, and the range is a bit on the poor side, because I think the claim range is around 420 kilometers. You will realistically get around 360 to 380 kilometers in the real world. And if you drive like this, forget getting anything, okay? Then you're not going to get any sort of range. So range is a bit of an issue for a car which is so expensive, but I think Porsche's focus is on driving dynamics, and as far as that goes, they've nailed it. This is an EV which has some emotion, because EVs don't have any emotion, but this one does have it, which will make me quickly cycle through the modes of this car. So firstly, in drive mode, there are multiple ones. So there is a range mode, which is similar to Sport Plus, because in both the modes now the car will be at its lowest position. Yes, the lowest position, which is a bit of a bummer, because I'm driving in range mode and every time the car is like super low, I'm trying to extract more efficiency out of it because I want to go to charge, and then I'm encountering speed breakers. I'm again getting here to raise the ride height, so that's a problem. Then there's a normal drive mode, there's a sport, and there's a sport plus. Sport plus is mad, it's absolutely nuts. Okay, meanwhile chassis also has multiple modes. I think that will tweak the air suspension, of course. There are adaptive dampers as well, and torque vectoring, and a lot of other things which Porsche has thrown in. So I have to come to a halt here and then turn around because these stupid speed breakers come out of nowhere, and we lift the car and we go very slowly. Yeah, so chassis has multiple modes: normal, sport, and sport plus. That obviously means how dynamic the chassis would be and how the adaptive dampers would also behave. So you can call it chassis as well as suspension. There's a chassis level mode, so below 30 kilometers per hour you can lift it. As soon as you hit 30, it is going to put it back down. That lift is of 20 mm, like I already told you. There's a medium, there's a lowered, and there's another low. So low is lower than lowered as well. And there's a recuperation. So there is no regenerative braking. It's called recuperation because the pedal feel is very natural. Somehow they've managed to work this around. So they do the regen when you're applying brakes, and the brake feel is amazing. It's next level feel because by electric car standards, you don't feel that you're driving an electric car. It just feels so normal and fluid and realistic as well. And then there's this electric sports sound which is off at the moment. But can you hear something? Yeah, there is this whine which is coming from the motor. Overall refinement is unbelievable because double glazed windows, of course. You can't hear much other than the wind noise. Very little wind noise. I mean, the least wind noise in an electric car is in this car because of the double glazed windows, and then obviously a little bit of the tire noise as well. But somehow the insulation levels are mind-bogglingly phenomenal, unbelievable, and braking performance is also fantastic. The pedal feel is amazing. It's next level. Hazard lights on. It is that time to launch the car. So traction control into sport first, and then I will keep the traction control button pressed to turn off traction control completely. Have I lost my mind? Probably yes. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and launch control activated. Ho 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 ho! You have to brace for this acceleration, otherwise you're going to have a whiplash injury. The acceleration is brutal. It's insane, and all this is thanks to the power output, which is absolutely maddening at 751 horsepower. Yeah, this is a dual motor setup, one at the front, one at the rear. You can also get a single motor setup with the rear wheel drive Porsche Taycan, but this being the all-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive has nuts performance because obviously this is a Turbo S. It has got the most amount of output as well compared to all the Taycans. The real highlight is the torque output. 1050 Newton meters. Yeah, 1050 Newton meters of torque. But when I say 750 horsepower, it's not giving you 750 horsepower. It is actually giving you 617 horsepower. What? Why? How? So it's only on overboost does it give you the full 751 horsepower. This guy is driving all over the place because somebody's actually stopped here on the right side. But anyways, so like I was telling you, naturally you're getting 617 PS of power. And the turbo version, this is the Turbo S, the turbo version has 680 horsepower. So it also gets 617 on regular mode. So obviously software tweaks to ensure the performance differs. By the way, it has got a 2-speed gearbox. Yeah, 2-speed, not a single speed, 2-speed. One for acceleration and one for top speed and better range as well. So it does the shift around 68.4 kilometers per hour into the other gear. You can feel that. That somehow makes it a little bit more engaging, but there are no paddle shifters. So a little bit engagement loss there. Paddle shifters could be there for regen and all, but no, Porsche's like just throttle and fly. Top speed is 260 kilometers per hour. Yeah, electronically limited top speed, it can go further. The front motor has a 1-speed gearbox. The rear motor has a 2-speed gearbox. The rear motor also gets a limited slip differential, and there's a lot of tech and electronics making sure that this car has optimum traction all the given time. But Porsche says the real USP of this car is that no matter how many times you do hard launches, the battery performance does not deteriorate. So somehow the battery doesn't heat because cooling has been done very nicely. And they also claim that when solid state batteries come along, then the weight of this car will reduce by 400 kgs with the same performance and range as well. Technically the performance and range would improve because 400 kgs lesser would be amazing, right? Because although you don't feel the weight of this car, if you try to corner really hard, that is when you can feel a bit of the weight, that yes, it is a heavy car. Obviously, even though they have used a lot of aluminum inside it, 37% of this car is only aluminum. This is obviously the J1 platform, which is shared with the Audi e-tron GT. Both the e-tron GT and the RS e-tron GT use the same platform, but I've driven those cars and this one feels different in the way the whole tuning has been done, how more performance oriented it is. There's so much grip on offer. Traction control can be either sport or off, and trust me, when you put it in sport or off and when you try to corner aggressively, this car will slide. Yes, you can actually drift this machine, although they don't have a dedicated drift mode as such, but you can do that if you so feel the need to do it. Now there's a range mode. I press this button here, range, okay, and here, see, tops. Oh no, I didn't. Did I get into range? I got into range. How is this car accelerating? Because it says max 100 kilometers per hour in range mode, so it's still kind of funny that it's still accelerating so brutally quick in range mode as well. Obviously, when we talk about the best mode, which is the Sport Plus mode, it is 134 horsepower more output. Yeah, there. No, it's just saying max 100 kilometers per hour, but it doesn't really throttle me down there, which is a good thing. I thought it was just going to restrict the speed to 100 kilometers per hour. Yeah, so I was telling you, the way the whole system has been done is just to ensure that when you need the range, it will give you the range. In fact, in range mode, you can see the car is completely lowered. It's so lowered, it's super lowered, and that screen is turned off just to conserve energy. They actually turn off one of the screens. That screen is a little pointless, but they turn it off. When you want to go the distance, it will actually do that for you as well. It's kind of nice. I love how this is unending thrust of performance and power all the given time. Let's launch it as aggressively as we can. Hazard lights off, launch control activated. Oh, insane! It's crazy the way it accelerates. There's so much grip. You really have to be careful, otherwise you can get crazy butterflies in your stomach because of the level of acceleration. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 2.8 seconds, which is blisteringly quick, making it the fastest electric car in India right now, rather the fastest accelerating car in India right now. ICE cars also included. The Bugatti Chiron takes 2.4 seconds. This is so freaking quick, it's unbelievable. Okay, that fake sound is getting to me a bit, so I'm just going to turn it off. Yeah, now it seems a bit more peaceful. The problem is that it accelerates so fast, you don't feel that speed in the senses as much as you feel it in your stomach, because there's no sound as such to follow up, right? So I was telling you, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes up in 2.8 seconds. 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in 9.6 seconds, which is very, very, very fast. And it will do the quarter mile in 10.7 seconds, which again is very quick. Around the corners, look at the level of composure. My goodness, it just is unbelievably awesome. But you know what? It has got rear wheel steering, which is not as impressive as the Mercedes EQS's rear wheel steering, because it will turn by up to 2.8 degrees only. At speeds under 50 kilometers per hour, it turns in the opposite direction to virtually reduce the wheelbase to make it more maneuverable and sharper as well. Above 50 kilometers per hour, it turns in the same direction as the front wheel to virtually lengthen the wheelbase for obviously better high-speed stability. And you can see that for yourself. Making a U-turn isn't that difficult. By the way, the placement of the battery is such that it ensures low center of gravity, but Porsche is not new to this at all, because they have been making cars with the weight in the wrong place, like the 911, which has the rear engine setup, and then obviously the Cayenne, which is very heavy, and both these cars handle extremely well. So Porsche knows that in spite of where the weight is, they can still fine-tune the chassis to ensure amazing handling. Now this battery pack, which is 79.2 I think for the lower battery, and you can upgrade to the 93.4 by paying around 5 lakh rupees abroad. In India, I don't know what is the pricing though, to be honest. It has around 33 modules of 12 cells each in each module, resulting in 396 cells, and this comes from LG Chemical in Korea, of course. Now, front disc 420mm, rear disc 410mm, and it has some serious shedding powers. The brakes are very nice, yeah, very nice. I was quite surprised actually. I was not expecting the brakes to be so normal like a regular ICE-powered car, because you always have that regen thing really ruining the feedback. But no, not in the Taycan, no, not at all. Which actually brings me to the pricing of this car. 2.66 crores on road Mumbai is quite a lot, because this is a CBU, and then this 37 lakh optional extras. I've already told you what is the price of various things, but let me also add a few other things, like the Porsche logo on the headrest will cost you around rupees 66,000. The logo on the center front armrest will cost you 45,000. The color coordinated key is cool, of course, but that will cost you 54,000. And these bluish seat belts, they cost 71,000. The blue tinge on the headlights is 69,000, and then 33,000 for the name of the car on the door sill. Insane, right? And if you want to save money, you can opt for the base variant, the rear wheel drive, which is priced at rupees 1.82 crores. So there are 5 variants. There's the base rear wheel drive, there's the 4S, then obviously the Turbo and the Turbo S. Honestly, just get the Turbo S. Just go full bonkers and get this one, because this is unbelievable. In terms of charging time, of course, it's quite quick if you get the right charger. It can charge up to 270 kilowatt, which will take it from 0 to 80% battery or 5 to 80% battery in just 22 minutes, blisteringly quick. But with a 11 kilowatt AC charger which is supplied with this car, it will take around 9 hours to go full up on the battery. Meanwhile, if you use the home charger, it's going to take a day, so just forget about it. There's free charging available for 3 years, but in America and in Europe, not in India, so that's a bit of a bummer. To make sure that the charging performance is optimal, you can actually precondition the battery, heat or cool it depending on the climate you are in. And there's a button here which is not active right now, which will actually show you the charging status, of course. It takes around 93 minutes to charge it from 5 to 80% using a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger, which I would call reasonably quick if you can get a 50 kilowatt DC charger. Problem is, most chargers here are 25, 30, and even if there's a 60 kilowatt DC fast charger, it will split it into 30-30. So that's a bit of a bummer, and that's the reason charging can be a bit of a pain in your rear end, of course. And there is the Hyundai Kona, another electric car. I don't see many of those, but neither do you see many of the Taycans either. And this guy is trying to take some pictures of the car. Dude, just follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. You will get to see all the pictures of the beautiful Porsche Taycan. Cost of charging is rupees 18 per kilowatt from a 30 kilowatt charger, which will go up to 21 rupees per kilowatt when you opt for a faster 60 kilowatt charger, which will anyway split the speed into half if there's another car which is parked there. That's public charging, obviously. If you charge it at home, obviously it's going to be much faster. Now this car uses an 800 volt architecture, which means it's got two-way charging. Yes, vehicle to load is there in the Taycan as well. So again, next level tech used by Porsche and Audi and the whole Volkswagen group in terms of the high-end performance electric cars. I do notice that there's some fingerprints which come here. That's the reason they have this under seat storage, so I can just under center console storage, so it's just easy to clean this and put it back out of sight. Anyways, it is actually the rear wheel drive Taycan which drives better than the all wheel drive version, because obviously it's lighter, less weight on the front axle, smaller battery, which means less weight in terms of the battery, and obviously the front wheels don't have to do the power, which means that it steers even better. Now this is quite a fast car, 2.8 seconds to 100 kilometers per hour. The EQS is its direct rival, the EQS 53 AMG on one side, and the Tesla Model S Plaid, which goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.6 seconds. It's faster, but it doesn't have the quality and the precision and the handling and the dynamics and the tech madness of a Porsche, of course. So that's like a poor man's fast EV, although it's not really cheap by any means of imagination. I don't know why they came to a halt. I had to get really hard onto the brakes. Yeah, brakes are really fantastic somehow. Like, I can endlessly praise the brakes of this car. So the EQS 53 AMG in India is priced at 2.58 crores, so 8 lakhs lesser than this particular car. But for that price, you get similar power output to 750 horsepower, that one too. But torque output is lesser by 30 Newton meters, 1020 Newton meters of torque, but 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.4 seconds, so 0.6 seconds slower. Why is that? Simply because of the weight of that car with a huge battery, bigger battery, of course, better range, better comfort, more luxury, more features, and all that is obviously there in the Mercedes, because Mercedes is more focused on being an holy moly, what happened? Being a luxury car company than a sports car company, and this is obviously made to be dynamically rich, and it really excels in that regard. They also have a wagon version of this car called the Taycan Cross Turismo, which has 30 mm more ground clearance. We are also doing the Viper test simultaneously, so that's available in 3 variants priced very similarly to this car. Hazard lights off, launch control activated. Insane. Anyways, Taycan actually stands for a Turkish word which is lively young horse. Yeah, it means lively young horse in Turkish, which actually has some relevance to the horse on the Porsche logo. And this car was first showcased as the Mission E concept way back in 2015 and then launched in 2019. So guys, this is my vlog of the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, and it's on actually, so I'm just going to leave throttle. Yeah, it decreases the speed, but it's not very aggressive, it's very natural as such. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.